welcome you again. This is Joelyn, and I am so excited to talk about this particular thing today, Ali.
Thank you.
Ali is a master's certified health and wellness coach. She's a biofield tuning practitioner. We're going to talk about that, and a spiritual coach. A lot of stuff there, a lot of stuff. She's also been teaching at Cal Poly Pomona and at Cuesta College. We're going to get into all of that and more. But Ali, welcome today to WonHeart TV.
Thank you, Joelyn,
How
for
are you
inviting
doing?
me. Good.
Oh,
I'm doing great. How
I'm
are
so
you?
I'm so excited to do this talk and to have you finally for this discussion because for one thing, I need my microphone and you've got yours. So, Ali, again, you have so many things that you have up your sleeve of what you do for a living. And I would really like you to share your story about what got you into this particular field of healing.
Sure. So, as you said, I used to teach at Cal Poly Pomona, and I've taught at Cuesta College as well. And I've always loved teaching, but on the side, I have always helped people to be healthier, and that was really my passion. And I think that stemmed a lot from my mom. So I have to give her credit. She was very avant-garde. We had an acre garden growing up. She knew so much about nutrition, and um, she wouldn't let us have refined sugar. We'd have to sneak candy, and but she would taught us how to be very healthy, how to make good, healthy choices, and I'm so appreciative of that. So I think that it really was from her that I got that desire to help people be healthier. And then from my dad was very much into energy um, and vibration, really. I mean, he would talk to us about how we could go into a room and change the energy of a room. And with our attitude or how we presented ourselves. And so he was teaching us these things as kids. I didn't understand it quite at the time, but he would talk a lot about Einstein and energy and different scientific things. And then as I got older, just one year I started listening to a lot of different programs, and everything that I was listening to had something to do with sound. And pretty soon I started realizing, gosh, this is interesting. I keep listening to these things that are about the same thing. And so I started doing more research about sound and vibration in the body. And then when I moved to the Central Coast, I got more interested in it and ended up finding biofield tuning and went through that course and um, did became a biofield practitioner. And that's basically how I started. Um, and I'm super happy that I went that direction because I love it.
I bet. I bet. Well, I am totally into healing the body myself and not really depending on our medical um, fields today. I had a horrible bout breakdown in the body about 5 years ago, and the doctors didn't really seem to know where to take me for my healing, so I did my own research, and I totally into foods heal, but I think there's a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of this stuff that you've really got to share about this biofield tuning. I
Sure.
met someone and just you've got to share about this. This is
Okay.
so fascinating.
So in 1994, the National Institute of Health measured our energy and said, yes, we are bioelectromagnetic energy, which is basically we're a vibration and a frequency. And they said, our energy goes about 6 to 8 feet out from each side of us and 3 feet above and below us. Now, when you think about that, it's pretty remarkable, right? When they were asked why 6 to 8 feet, and they said, well, that's where our instruments stopped. So who knows? We could potentially, it could go farther than that. But we've sort of always had an intuitive feeling about that. I'm sure most of us, like when you walk into a room and you go into that space and you see someone across the way, and either you feel like a repulsion or an attraction to them, right? So it's likely that your biofield and that energy and frequency in your biofield is interacting with theirs, and either it's a good match or it's not, right? And or we say to each other, hey, I like your vibe, right?
That's true.
So there's something we've known inherently that we weren't even told, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but science has said yes, we are. And sound healing and sound therapy has been used, and sound in general has been used for centuries. The ancients used it. They have a lot of evidence now to show, the different tunnels and things like that that the Egyptians had, or different sound chambers that they had, in addition to sound chambers in Europe. A lot of royalty had those sound chambers for healing, and to go as a place to really restore the soul or the spirit, and the body too. And and there's some evidence coming out now, some work coming out in the medical field of them trying to develop, or I don't know how much in process it is, but where an instrument would go inside of you and they'd actually um, see if your cell is in tune or out of tune. Because what they've discovered is that in tune cells are very harmonious, they actually sound really beautiful. And out of tune cells are very disruptive, harsh. There's a difference. And usually those cells that are out of tune are the cells that are cancerous or diseased. And so these kind of instruments would allow, medical personnel to really target where that area is in the body. But being a biofield tuner, our goal is to prevent, right? So you don't have to get to the point where you're at the hospital having to, to use that machine.
Right.
And so really helping people understand the intelligence of their bodies, that your body, one, it makes sense to heal with sound since we are a frequency and a vibration. And two, that your body has all the answers for your life. You have amazing healing powers within yourself. But we've unfortunately given our permission to have our authority over our body sometimes given away to authorities, to those who have degrees or things like that. And I'm not dissing any degrees. I have, my MBA, I have my master's. So I'm a big advocate of education and improving your mind and learning. But I'm also a big advocate of letting people know that you have more knowledge inside of you than you realize. And so when I work with clients, I really try to help them know and learn how to read and understand what their body's telling them, what their messages are. Do you want me to continue with that? Okay.
Please, please, please. I mean, I'm totally into what you're saying. So
Okay.
go on.
Okay. So when I have a client come in, to work with me, I'm working out in their field. I'm working in that 6 to 8 feet, and with the tuning forks. And the tuning forks allows me to see where there is dissonant energy or static energy, stuck energy. And I can tell you about what age you are. And I can tell you on the body what that means, because we all as human beings carry things in the same areas of our body, and it means roughly the same thing. So if I'm working on you, Joelyn, and we're working, let's say, on your left side, and your left hip is showing that there's some stuck energy. The left hip is all about unmet needs, things you want to be having and doing. And so
Say that again. Unmet
unmet
needs. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's really big in the work that WonHeart's done.
Yeah.
Go on. Unmet needs.
Yeah, unmet needs, things you want to be having and doing. And so as I work that energy on your left hip, I can tell you in your biofield about how the ages you were when you had unmet needs and things you wanted to be having and doing. And so, and the reason why I will let you know where those are at is the hope is, and the process is, that even though the forks are working with your cells, right, and helping to tune your cells, your cells are coming into tune with the perfect pitches of those forks. It's important that your conscious mind understands maybe patterns that you've been having in your life. And so by my showing you, hey, Joelyn, maybe at 5 years old, this is showing up, and and I say, hey, what's going on at 5, you know, unmet
Mm-hmm.
needs, it usually can come to your mind. It's usually the first thing that comes to your mind. And then maybe at 10, it happened again, and maybe at 15 and 20, you know, and suddenly a pattern develops.
Mm.
And the aha moments or the epiphanies that clients have is amazing, right? They'll be like, oh my gosh, I never realized that that's where that's stemming, right? That's where that's coming from. Now, there are times where I'm working with people and I hit an age and they're like, I have no idea. Nothing is coming to my mind. I don't know.
Mm.
And I'll say, let's go into your body, because our bodies are so super intelligent. Our bodies remember every smell, every event,
It does.
every emotion that we've ever had, every memory, even if our cognitive mind doesn't
Right.
initially. And so I teach them how to go into their body, and I'll say, you know, I take them through this process. And within a very short period of time, I would say probably about 99% of people go, oh my gosh, it just came to me, because they've listened to their body and what
Mm.
their body is revealing to them. And what it allows people to do is it allows them to help clients get over things like PTSD, trauma, stress, anxiety, depression, all these things, because all of those emotions, all those things, all those situations are stemming from actual events or things that have happened in your life that have gotten stuck, that weren't processed, that weren't worked out in the body. Okay, this is not just a cognitive thing. It's not talk therapy. It's very different, but because you are using your mind, but we're dealing with the body mainly, and also an aspect of that too is the spirit. You know, I'm a spiritual coach as well, so I believe that we're not just a mind, we're a body and a spirit, and you have to engage all three of those for optimal health.
Mm.
And so, you know, I always ask people, what do you do, or do you do anything on a daily basis to feed your soul? What soul food do you eat every day?
Oh, soul food. Yeah.
Right?
This is different than
Yeah,
what we know of soul food, like mac and cheese and such. Where
right.
you're talking about, what are you talking about?
Spiritual things. And I'm not talking about religious things. So let me just um, take a
Clarify
minute,
that a
yeah,
bit.
and
Okay.
clarify a little bit. So a long time ago, in my life, I went through kind of a dark night of the soul, and went through my own, you know, spiritual journey. And I grew up in a very conservative religion, and you know, some things occurred, and so I ended up going on this journey. And in that journey, that was a very long process, I learned that spiritual things, or spiritual truth, is anything that helps another human being be a more kind, loving, authentic, genuine, caring person. And if it comes from a church, if it comes from nature, if it comes from the wisdom of your grandmother, but for you, that piece helps to make you a more kind, loving, genuine, authentic human being, then that is spiritual truth. And so I tell people, or I ask my clients, you know, so what things are you, you know, that's soul food. You need that. We are first and foremost a spirit. When you think about frequency and vibration, it's, you know, at the highest level, that's light,
Right.
right? So we're all this light, and so we spend a lot of time on our bodies, feeding our bodies, worrying about our bodies, especially the external parts of
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, right? Um, but we spend very little time on the soul. And I really think that part of what's happening in our society right now is this um, loneliness that's coming because of the loss of connection with the soul, and even with each other, the loss of speaking our souls, or from our hearts, to each other.
Now, this is really important today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to remind everybody we've got this so called crisis in the world right now. I'm going to be honest, so called crisis. And we have more suicides than ever,
Right.
from what I've understood. And that's a crisis of
Mm-hmm.
the soul.
It is.
And we've got a lack of social interaction. that is
Mm-hmm.
also. We're going to need a lot of you people, you healers in the world, because we're going to have to undo all of that, which to me seems utmost importance today.
Mm-hmm.
But going back, I just discovered Dr. Gabor Mate, I might say it wrong. He talks a lot about trauma. And you brought up that things get stuck. And he says trauma gets stuck. Is that what you're referencing to?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it gets stuck in the body. And how you know where things are stuck is, where do you hurt?
My neck, my
Your
back.
body, when it hurts, it's telling you
Mhm.
something. That's a message to you from your body that something's not right, because we are meant to be in homeostasis. We're meant to be in balance. We're meant to be at ease.
Ooh,
When we're
very
not
nice.
at ease, we're in dis-ease.
Ooh, that's good.
Okay?
Yes.
So when you're not at ease and there's tension in your body, that's an indicator to you that something needs to change,
Right.
that you need to address something in your life, and your body's telling you. It's trying to wake you up. And so it's a wonderful mechanism if we'll listen. But what happens, unfortunately, sometimes in our society is that we've been taught, you got a pain, let's numb it out. Let's numb it through
Medicate you.
medicating
Yes.
it, through drinking too much, whatever it is. And I am not saying I'm against, those things in moderation, right? There are some times where we really do need medication. There are some times, where somebody, wants to have a drink because they're socializing and it's a fun thing. That's different from numbing out, or from numbing your pain so you don't have to feel it anymore. We're meant to feel our pain. We can only heal through going into the pain.
Right.
But yet it's one of the most frightening things for people. Um, but if your body has pain, that's saying that something is out of balance in your body.
Right.
And if you let it stay out of balance too long, out of that place of ease, you will get disease.
Right. Dis-ease.
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 Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. But I still have questions. There's at least 4 types of techniques you use, and I'd like to just touch on them.
Okay.
So one is the tuning forks.
Yes.
So you actually, I've heard about it. I'm a musician. I have a tuning fork to tune, though I don't use the 440 tuning. I'll let you know that I use 432 hertz tuning when I perform and play and record my originals, known as the healing vibration. The ancients knew this, and I'm sure you know more about it. However, tuning forks, do you have like a suitcase for
Yes, for different
tuning
things.
vibrations?
Yeah, they do different things. Some of them are DNA repair, some of them are to heal traumas, different things like that. So yes, they do. Different frequencies do different things in the body. It's kind of the same like when you're listening to music. Some music all of a sudden puts you down, right? You're like, oh, I'm so depressed after listening to this music. And some music really lifts you up.
Right.
It's all because of that hertz, the frequency that's going on.
Okay.
In fact, Pythagoras, back in the day, the harp actually is attuned to different chakras, and it's to heal the body. So if you're a harp player, keep playing. It's good for your body. Not many people play the harp though anymore, right?
Yeah.
But yes, so yes, there's a different arsenal of.
It's interesting. The people
forks.
I know that do play the harp, Dr. Christian Northrup, who I'd like to interview, she plays the harp, a doctor, and a lot of people in hospice. A lot of people I know are hospice performers. And what a way to go out with a harp, right? You said it touches on a lot of frequencies.
Yeah, a lot of the different chakras.
I'm gonna have to share that with my musician friends. You use a medicine drum. Now,
I do.
Drums are so the marching bands when they go by,
right?
There's something I get excited. Yep. It's tribal. What's that?
So the medicine drum is amazing, and that's what's amazing about a drum too, is that on a drum you can play different frequencies. The medicine drum is specifically I don't know if I want to say engineered, but geared to heal. And so there's different types. Like a lot of the frequency I play is called the mother's womb, and it's a frequency that we hear in the womb. And so
Mm.
it's very comforting, it's very grounding. You know, when I have clients have who are anxious or nervous, really nervous, or they've just had a lot of trauma, it's just a really comforting, it's like being wrapped in a blanket all again, you know, and just being
Mm.
in that little cozy space. Um, but yes, so this medicine drum was gifted to me. It was made handmade by a woman in Taos, New Mexico. She taught me how to play it, and I use it frequently in my sessions as well because of what a drum does, you know. And yes, it can also excite you, right? So you have to really know what you're doing.
Right, right. That's true.
You don't want to have somebody come into your session who, you know, has high anxiety and you're playing a really excitable frequency, you know.
Upbeat
Yeah.
cadence. Yeah. Okay.
So you do need to know, you know, how to use the instruments.
Wow. Okay. We might have to jam sometime. Um, you use energy readings.
Yes.
So what is that all about?
So a lot of that is very intuitive, and that's deeply spiritually based too. But what I do is I'm very gentle with people because, um, you know, even individuals who come in and they'll say, "Yeah, I'm so ready to heal. Let's get this done right away," right? We don't realize that even though our brains are saying that our bodies and our spirits are not quite ready to go that quickly. And so the tuning forks it's such a gentle process because the tuning forks allow me to know what you're ready to release that day. And therefore, I'm not going to go deeper than that, even though intuitively I'm reading energy and stuff and I could go deeper and I could tell you more. I don't. Out of respect for you and your body and what your body is sharing with me. And so,
Almost like you're allowing them
yes,
the space.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Because, um, so for instance, uh, rookie pilots, when they go through turbulence, a lot of them might think that, or we might think, that we should go through turbulence really fast, right, to get through it faster. But actually, it's more gentle on the plane and on the people in the plane if you move slowly through it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're going through difficult times or you've had a lot of trauma, you're not to speed through it. Speeding through it is actually more damaging. And um, you know, you really need to slow down. And that's why people are like, when they've gone through trauma, they're like, man, I can hardly get out of bed, or I can't do much. Well, it's because your body's actually helping you to slow down,
Right.
to realize, hey, you just went through something really big. You need to you need to be gentle with yourself. We're really hard on ourselves. We have a very big problem in this country, and I think globally, with self love. And that's not ego love. We don't have a problem with big egos in the global world, but with self love, genuine, caring, kind self love. And did I answer your question? I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
you
Joelyn. I
know,
think I went off on a
actually,
tangent.
no, it's beautiful, and you're triggering me because of the fact that I was really hard on myself for a long time when I went to help the teens, realizing in the juvenile hall, I'd ask them, "What are you telling yourself? Do you hear this? Do you hear yourself talking to yourself? And who is that other person talking to yourself?" And a lot of times, Ali, for me, for years, it was really horrible. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I would ever talk that way to anybody,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we suffer from the not good enough syndrome because we
Yes.
just continually, we're even bombarded through religions and advertisement and yeah. But I loved how you said slowing down, slowing down and letting ourselves catch up with the trauma to heal, or
Yes.
what, if
Yes.
I'm understanding you. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it's important not to numb out because it is important to feel your body. Your body's trying to help you,
Right.
you know, trying to
Right.
help you navigate. A couple of things that you said, which is so very interesting. Yes, so part of that self love, really, and lack of it, is that um, we haven't really been taught how to go in spiritually and really tune into ourselves and really anchor in, because when we feel connected to a higher power, whatever that is for you, whether you call that God or universe or source or nature, when we make that connection, it actually opens up that part of ourselves, that self-love, because we're actually connecting, we're plugging in to that highest source of love, right? So if we get damaged by something that somebody said in religion, or damaged by something that somebody's made us feel or whatever, it's super important to go back
Right.
within
Right.
and start feeding yourself that soul food. Another thing that you said the other night, I was at an outdoor event, and there was a sweet soul there who had Down syndrome, and she was just such a sweetheart. And we were talking and everything, um, and then all of a sudden, she picked up her hand phone, okay, and held it against her ear, and she was like, "Uh huh, yes, what? Hmm? What? No, no." And then she started to cry. And she hung up the phone, and I said, "Well, what happened?" And she said, "Oh, I was on with my boyfriend." And I said, "Oh." I said, "Well, what did he say?" And she said, "He broke up with me." And, all of us watching this were like, "Oh, how cute. She's so sweet. That's so cute, right?" But as I was watching it, and so we were totally, saying to her, "Well, do you want us to call him back and talk to him? That is not nice of him." And, but as we were like all looking at each other and go, "Oh, how sweet." What dawned on me was, wow, she just manifested for all of us sitting here what we do as human beings inside of our heads.
Mm.
We can be up here happy, and within moments, based on what we're saying to ourselves, could bring ourselves to tears.
Absolutely.
And I thought, wow, how powerful. And I thought, these sweet souls, in so many ways, I think, help us to remember who we are,
Ooh,
right?
I know.
And
So important.
yeah,
So important.
yeah. And yeah, it was just really a powerful moment. But yes, what we tell ourselves is absolutely crucial. And the stories that we tell ourselves are absolutely crucial. But it, again, the story we tell ourselves sometimes that make us feel weak. So maybe our victim story, and we all have a victim story. We all have a victim story. Our victim story, or the I'm not good enough story, or the this story or that story. Those stories we have to let go of. And until we're ready to let go of them, we'll never heal. And that, I've seen it time and time again, when people are unwilling, and it is a will thing. Not even the tuning forks can change that in you.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's
It's a
interesting.
will. I can tune your brain cells, I can tune your body cells,
Right.
but you and only you have control over what you think,
Absolutely.
you know, and what you let in your mind.
Especially with all that we're seeing right now out there.
Yes, yes,
I tell people over and over, turn off that media narrative. It's repetitive. And, what do you do with children? I was just thinking this morning, how do children remember songs or move? They watch them over and over and
right.
over. And I realized that is what's happening with us today.
Yeah,
We're adults, but yet we're being groomed, so to speak, as children over and over and over with a daily narrative that might not be true if we
mm-hmm.
would just. Okay.
So you said one thing, right? The thing,
Yeah.
the truth, right?
Right.
And that's really what it comes down to. I really think that a lot of what's happening in our world today
Mhm.
is that we've lost sight of living the number one spiritual truth, and that is the law of one, meaning that we are all connected to each other. So my actions, my words, the way I live my life doesn't just affect me. It affects everyone in this universe. And we're all connected through a thing called ethers. And they've proven it in science now. Ethers is the thing that helps the stars hang in the sky. It's the thing that when I'm thinking about you and all of a sudden you call me, we're connected through the ethers. That's how we know. So we're all connected to each other. And because of that, it really impels us all, if we were to really sink into ourselves, to live the truth, to live truth. And what that means is that when you lie to yourself, when you deceive yourself, okay, And it happens a lot, you know, with addiction and things like that. Oh, I can drink one more of these. This isn't going to hurt me, right? Or I can be mean to this person. You know, I can deceive myself by pretending I'm being nice when I'm being really mean to this other person. That kind of self-deception, that lie, okay, that lie is super damaging to the body. They've shown already that lies actually age the cells, okay?
And you mean lying to yourself?
Lying even to yourself,
Okay.
and lying to others, because within us, there is a compass, a mechanism that always seeks for truth. It's the reason why even criminals trip themselves up unconsciously, because there's something, a mechanism within them that actually wants the truth to be known. So they want to be caught. They want to be caught. And so I really think that there's a balance in the universe when these universal laws exist. They're not impartial. So that means that it doesn't matter if you're wealthy or poor. So it doesn't matter what your socioeconomic, level is. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. It doesn't matter what your ethnicity or race is or what your religion is. If you don't abide by those universal laws, there will be consequences in time of the way you live your life, because the universe will not support that imbalance for very long. And so, and again, when we think about what the body's meant to be in balance, right? And at ease.
Yes.
So is the universe. And so I think what we're seeing is there's been such an imbalance of that idea of universal law of one, and how our actions affect each other. There's been too much greed, too much it's all about me, too much narcissism, all that kind of stuff, that the universe is now saying, wait, too much. And you're starting to see this shift happening and a falling away of things, because these laws have to be lived by. It's universal truth. It's universal law. It's not that you're being punished. We're all under the same the same law.
Right.
It's very impartial, but it really does impel us all to look at our own lives and say, you know what? How am I living my life? I remember when I was 17, it was a really good lesson for me. I was saying yes to a lot of things. I was in a church at that time.
Good.
Yeah, I was going to a church at the time, and I was saying yes to a lot of things. And I was like, yes, I'll volunteer for that, and I'll volunteer for that, and I'll do it for that. And I thought I was doing the right thing, but what was happening is I was saying yes to all these things, but I wasn't doing the work that they were asking me to do. So all these things were like dropping, right? And I just was clueless. I was like, da da da, I'm saying yes. Oh, aren't I a good person? Da da da. And I asked one of the individuals who was older than I was and more wise to do a letter of recommendation for me for a job. And she gave me that letter of recommendation. She gave me a copy. And in that letter of recommendation, she said, Ali, it's great. Ali's so enthusiastic about, saying yes to take on these tasks, but she needs a great deal of help in follow through. She's letting things drop, and thus disappointing other people who were relying on her. And it hit me. I felt like I had been stabbed in the heart. It hit me so hard. And at first I was like, why would she say that? And then the moment of truth, right? And I sunk into myself and I started sobbing, and I thought, she's right. She's right. I am not following through. By my saying yes to do something, what I'm really saying is, you know what, I will uphold my end of the bargain and do what you're asking me. I'm not just saying yes, but actually following through and do what you need me to do. And I wasn't doing that. And it was a moment of truth for me. And I am so grateful to that woman to this day for being honest with me and telling me something that I was not aware of, right? Because we can self-deceive. And it helped me to be much more conscientious about my behavior and how my behavior affects another person. And and I'm just super grateful. I'm really grateful for truth tellers. Sometimes we need them, even if it hurts. Sometimes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sometimes I've been a little too truthful with people. And I've learned the mirroring effect, that when I am truthful with you, it's because I know it's in within me, because I can't spot it
Right.
if it's not in me.
Right.
Not always a good thing, but yeah, and I've lost a few friends from that, so I'm very careful, maybe more a little delicate,
Yes, we need to
if
be
not
delicate,
just so,
right?
hey, you need to
Right.
you need to do this
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, no, I've been a little, yeah, I think we've all had those moments. Yeah, we need to be delicate for sure, because the truth of the matter is that we all, um, we're all very fragile in some ways, you
Big
know,
time, big
and
time.
you know we're fragile, but if we can come from a place of the heart and from a place of love, you know, I think it is important. But again, it's super important that we ourselves look at ourselves and do
Right,
and look at the person in the mirror and say, am I really this person that I'm saying I am?
right,
Right?
right,
Am I really living up to that
right,
standard or not? And if I'm not, I don't need to beat myself up. And
right.
that's what we need to realize. It's not about beating yourself up and, you know, and just, you know, being mean to
I'm a
yourself.
piece of crap. I don't deserve
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
No,
Yep,
it's
I've
not
been
that.
there,
It's
been
about
there.
saying, oh, shoot, darn it. Laughing at yourself and go, man, I'm so human. Isn't that silly?
Yeah,
I'm so funny.
that's a little.
Humans are so funny and I'm a funny human. And just being more kind and saying, okay, you know what? I'm such a funny human. I did that backwards. Now I'm going to do it the right way this time,
Yeah.
you know, or do a better job of it this next year, or, you know, take a couple things here that I know I need to work on and just, you know, really give it my all, like do it from my heart and be sincere about it and have integrity about it. Integrity, such an important word, right?
Right. It is. It is. You know, we are well past it. I'm taking you. I just appreciate all of this. I think we could probably sit another half an hour. I like to make my programs at least about a half an hour,
Yeah,
but I
I love
have
that.
one last thing to
Okay.
ask you here, and this is more about I call it COVID sadness.
Okay.
And you said something about your best life. I'm all about that. In fact,
Yeah.
my blog is Best You Blog. Um, one last thing, maybe it's a brain technique, one of the other virtues you use, techniques, I should say, ideas for people, maybe that you could leave that could help them. I use EFT,
Mm-hmm.
emotional freedom technique,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe there's something that you know that could help us.
Okay. Number one, yoga. Yoga is
I've been
super
meaning
good.
to do that lately. Okay.
So, if you can do biofield tuning, it's awesome, right? For to help for some of those things. But yoga is super powerful, and you know, it was developed to prepare the mind for meditation, and so it helps the body. It helps to get the flow going in again on the body, and helps to calm the mind a bit. And you know, if you have a local center like we do in Paso Robles, which is Jenna Baird's Dharma Yoga Loft,
Right.
that's a really
Next
terrific
on my
place.
list to interview.
Yeah, she's wonderful. And or you know, if you don't have access to something local, then YouTube. You know, YouTube.
Mm.
There's a lot of wonderful yoga teachers on YouTube. But some things you can also do is breathing, breath work.
Oh,
Breath work is essential, and here's why. Like tuning forks, it sends into the body nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is known as the fountain of youth. It's all the medicine our body needs, and it it happens when friction is along our blood vessel, and then when it goes fast enough, it sends out that nitric oxide. Breathing, good breathing techniques help to do that. In addition, it takes you from your head, from that place of fear, depression, all that, and back into the center,
mm.
to your heart,
Hmm.
right, to your heart space. And um, and it opens up the circulation in the body, and
Mhm.
more circulation is, you know, as you more or better health. So that's super powerful and good. Tapping is really good. So Marma points, if you are familiar with Marma points, you can YouTube those. I'm sure that they have some online, but it's about, you know, knocking the head and tapping your face and your shoulder and your lymph system and all that. And that's great for waking up your energy, feeling a little bit more bright. The
Yeah.
thymus is always really important
Yes.
for that. Bouncing up and down, if you have a little trampoline in your house, that puts the bioelectric magnetic energy back into your bones, and that makes you
Mm.
feel stronger.
That'd
um,
be really good for older people with, achy joints and
Yeah,
such. Yeah.
if you don't have a little trampoline, bounce on your toes, bounce
Or
on
the
your toes.
couch.
Yeah, there you go. And so that's really, really helpful as well. Um, Another thing is to chant the different chants of the chakras, and you can look those up, but one that I'll tell you about is the heart one, which is Yam. So when you do it, you go Yam, and you want to press your lips and get that vibration, because that vibration goes through your body, but it opens your heart. When your heart's more open, you feel better.
Most definitely. Most
The
definitely.
last thing is reach out.
Reach out.
Reach out
Reach out.
to another person,
Oh.
right? We need each other. We need each other. And if you can reach out and talk about spiritual things, even better, because we are a soul and it gives us that soul food. Start feeding yourself some soul food. That's one way that you can feel immense love, because we all are connected. That love is universal,
It is.
and so that's another great way to feel better. But honestly, we need each other.
Yeah.
We're not meant to be alone.
No.
We're not meant to be an island unto ourselves. We are meant to be community.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Where can people find you if they want to get a hold of you and get going on this healing adventure?
Oh
We got
gosh.
to get.
Okay, so I've been going at this for a while, and it started off and it took off so fast that, do you know, I have not even had time to make cards, and I've been doing this for a while now. So you can reach me on my phone, my telephone,
Okay.
which is 626-616-0945.
All right. I'll
And you
put
can
that in
just
the.
text me.
I'll put it in the
Yeah, you can just
comments.
text me if you are interested in making an appointment. I can do them over the phone, because again, I can do a hologram. We connect through the ethers. It works the same way on the body.
Ethers. You're talking about where, when I pick up the phone, say I was thinking about you, you call me, that kind of a thing. You
Yeah.
said earlier, that's that whole dialing in the frequency kind of thing,
Well,
like
it's
on the radio,
well, I guess it's similar in the sense that ether is all around us, right? It
Mm.
connects things, right?
Mm-hmm.
It connects those frequencies, energies, things like that. So when we tap in,
Okay.
right, it's
So they
kind of
can
that
reach you by phone. They
by
can
phone.
reach you by. Do you have a website?
I have a sweet person who has months and months ago said, Ali, I want to do your website for you, and I'll just do it for you. And I was like, okay, great. Let me get a logo. And I haven't even had time to do that. So I don't have that yet, but I will. How about in the future when I get it done? But yes, I've been so super busy, and I feel so grateful for that,
Yes.
because I've been able to work with a lot of wonderful people. But yes, I'll give that when I have it all. So
And just to give you an idea, we're in her home today, and she explained that fascinating. She painted these paintings that you can see back here,
with two other friends.
and two other friends, and they kind of went from painting to painting, and that's one mind right there,
Yeah, we
at
we
work.
rotated. We
You
rotated so
rotated.
that it would look, the composition would look more uniform.
I don't even know how that's done. I can barely do those wine and paint things, but thank you, Ali. Thank you
Thank
so much
you,
for
Joelyn.
taking your time today and exploring us, talking about vibration and the importance of healing our bodies through it. We all are vibration. Everything's vibration.
Yes.
Plants, animals,
Color.
rocks. You got it. And music. And so I invite you to check out more videos at WonHeart TV here on YouTube and Facebook, of course. We've got a WonHeart channel. And
And Joelyn, may I say one last thing? I just wanted to
you
thank you.
betcha. Go for it,
Thank
girl.
you for doing these interviews. I
Mm.
think they're super important right now, and that this kind of information get out to people. So the work you're doing is really important. So keep doing it.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
love it. I get to meet the best people. Again, thank you again. And
Thanks.
we're going to check out. So peace, love to you all. And bye-bye.
Namaste.
Namaste.